Introducing Mr. Morales! Yay!
Yay! That was my sweet baby girl. Thank you so much for helping me out. Today we're going to talk about domain and range of continuous graphs. So let's start with domain. For domain, you're going to be scanning your pencil from left to right, or you can do right to left, along the x-axis. And then for range, you're going to scan your pencil top to bottom along the y-axis. So let's do some examples. The first example, we have the domain here. The domain, if you notice, the arrow just keeps going. So there's a starting point, but it keeps going. So we call this all real numbers. Hopefully you have your notes and you're filling in your notes as you're watching this video. Then you have the range. Notice the range has a little starting point right there, which is at -2. Now, are the arrows going up or are they going down?
Up.
Up. That means that all the ordered pairs, all the numbers of y's, are they going to be greater than or less than -2?
Greater than.
Greater than is correct. So that means y has to be greater than, or it can be equal to -2. Now let's talk about this circle here. Notice for domain, there's a starting point on the left and on the right. The furthest left is -3, and the furthest right is +3. Now because we're on the x-axis, we're going to use the x variable. And so this coordinates, any of these x's, has to be less than or equal to this 3, but it has to be greater than or equal to this -3. Now, we talk about the range, we're talking about the y-axis. So we're going to have y in the middle. Notice that there's a lowest point and the highest point. The lowest point is -3, so any points above it has to be greater than -3, but it has to be below or less than +3. So the range starts here and it goes to here. So top to bottom, bottom to top, doesn't matter. It's between that range. Let's look at this line here. Notice the line from left to right, talking about domain, it keeps going. It never stops. So it just keeps going. We call that, again, all real numbers. All real numbers. And the range, notice as the line's going from left to right, it's also going down. And on this side, it's going up. So it doesn't matter because it's still going. What do we call that again?
All real numbers.
That is correct. All real numbers. Okay? So let's look at example number 4. Notice the domain, the arrows again, means the lines keep going. So that doesn't stop. Now there's a symbol for all real numbers, which is that. Or something like that. I believe it was like that. Even better. Now let's talk about the range. The range, the starting point is up here, which is 1, 2, 3, 4. So that means that y, is it going to be greater than 4 or less than 4?
Less than.
Less than 4 is correct. So less than or equal to 4, all these have to be below it. Lastly, we have number 7 and number 8. Let's look at number 7. So for domain, it keeps going left to right. If you notice, it keeps going that way, keeps going that way. Again, we call that all real numbers. And then for the range, notice you have the lowest point and the highest point. So we have y has to be less than 1, 2, and it has to be greater than 1, 2, 3. And that's -3 here. Okay? And then let's look at number 8. Domain starts here at -1. So x has to be greater than or equal to -1. And then the range, notice it keeps going up and down. So we call that one all real numbers. Thank you again. Have a wonderful day.